I promised General Thunder we'd record it for her, and I don't want to mess it up because she'd come and get me. She'll she'll be back on the 8th, by the way. So she's also traveling. Do we want to do how do we want to do this? Aliane, this was your original idea. Do we want to go around and everybody just say who they are and do a quick update and then move into other things? We don't have a lot of, what are you thinking?
That like a quick update.
Okay.
I feel let's begin with prayer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Do you want to do the prayer?
Mm. That's good. Dear Divine, my Mother Earth, ancestors, and all of love and light, we thank you for being with us here today and for holding us, loving us, and showing us the way. Please bless each and every one of us here and all the other members that are not present with us. We ask for your blessings, for your guidance, and for you to hold space and guide us through this heart storming and through all the work and through life. We thank you from the deepest place in our hearts. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sister. Beautiful.
Thank
Ooh,
you.
wow. Um, okay, I'll kick it off so I can kind of be the quickie model. Okay. Jim Gray Wolf, although if no somebody here doesn't know me, then I'm probably not doing my job well. Um, yeah, I'm really feeling not sure what the words are. Inspired, uplifted, a lot of things by those I see in front of me, but also the way this thing is starting to progress. I think we're definitely ready for the next step. We went through a period of redoing everything on sanctuaries, and we had some amazing people who came on to help in that point, who have flowed into other work now, although most of them are still connected. I heard from Robert the other day. He's back in Costa Rica. So now we had a group of dreamers. Almost all of us function at 40,000 feet. And that's a great way to heartstorm, but not a great way to move ahead. We need a mix. I think we have a good, yeah, right. Um, I think we have a good mix right here in front of us. I think we have a lot of us who can do both. We may prefer one mode or the other, but I think it'll move ahead really, really well. We're doing a lot of on-site stuff here. Most of that I'll save for the next meeting when we have an actual business board meeting. But people are noticing us. And I think with some of the people we've proposed here to join us, we'll have a really strong on the ground presence. And since seems to be evolving into the first physical sanctuary, I think we can do some really amazing work. That's it for me. Stick in the middle. Okay, so whoever finishes, why don't they pick the next person to talk? So I will pick. Don't do that because then you know I'll pick you. I will pick Alian.
Hello, I'm Alien. I'm from Kalimpong, the foothills of the Himalayas in India. And I don't want to share so much about what I do, but there's just something that happened just before I came onto the meeting. So when I was kind of deep diving into myself and met a lot of grief there, and I was taken by my friends to the river, a local river called the Reli, and I just knew I had to dip myself in her, and I did, and I got better, and I felt connected again to myself, to Mother Earth, and she asked me to um, share our origin story of our tribe, the Lepchas. And she asked me to share that. And she gave me visions of the regalia that I was supposed to wear, the ceremonial, and an installation which traveled to Australia recently. And it is, and the instruction was pray for the blood of our ancestors and remind people of the earth and of how we are of her. And I did that, and it's been on display since 29th. And somehow a person, a local indigenous person from there, I don't even know his name, it's an Instagram profile, shared the picture saying Lepcha people, Kalimpong, and the picture of the installation. I don't know, I felt very called to send him the text, the proper personal text that goes with it, not the one that's on display. And I sent it to him, shared the story or the song of the river that came to me and how I was, and then the origin story, which I will share with you shortly. Um, and he's traveling to a sacred location, and the instruction was when we're ready, the sacred spaces, places, energies will give us the lessons and the medicine that we need. And he's traveling to this spot, which is I forget, like something on the lines of like the where the sky is met, you know, the large sky and the top of a mountain. He just messaged me just before I came on, and he said to me, "Thank you, and it's timely. I am going to this location where I will see the ocean from here, and it's a sacred location." And we connected, you know, through this interaction, and then it just made sense to me. From our mountains, you know, Kanchenjunga, the Himalayas, water flows down to the river, finally meets the ocean. And this journey of mine just completed through a stranger who's going there to give my regards and my love and my prayers to the ocean. So I think sanctuaries is a lot also work and practical things, but it's also about this magic.
Yes.
And yeah, I just wanted to share that. And I'm happy to have all of you here. And then I'm really excited because there were fewer of us, and the balance of work and
Mhm.
you know the practical aspects, and then like Jim was saying, most of us fly 40,000 feet above the ground. We try and balance, but we really needed more souls and more brothers and sisters to
Mhm.
come in and help us do this. And personally, I feel um, quite strongly about whoever has come, because I don't feel everything is you know, it's not by chance. I feel they come, they might go also, which is also okay. And at this point,
Mhm.
you guys are here, and I'm grateful because we need help. So thank you for
Thank you.
coming here, and that's all I'd like to share.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Big,
Eliane.
the big takeaway from Alien for me was the word magic. Okay, pick somebody.
Oh, Heather, because we've not heard from Heather. Like we've met everybody, but
Yeah.
Heather,
Okay, what am I supposed to share though?
it's a heart-storming thing. So
Mhm.
whatever you feel called to share.
Whatever. You could share your name and where you're from and why you're here first if you want.
Okay, thanks. Uh, my name is Heather. I just moved to Sedona from Minnesota a month ago and met Grey Wolf and Haley up at a drum circle and just really connected right away and heard about the work you guys are doing, and that's the kind of work that's inside my heart too, and like the reason I wanted to be here in Sedona, like such an inspiring place to pour out into others in the same way. I'm also very connected to the earth. It's always been since I was really, really small. So this is just really like my life coming full circle to meet you guys and hear of your dreams and plans. So thank you for having me here.
Glad you're here. New people. There's a lot of new people.
May I say something?
Yep.
Thank you, Heather, for being who you are and showing up in your full presence. And this is also, you know, we're a council. And a council is supportive. And we know that we all go through waves of life. And so we have our brainstorming sessions to deal with the logic and deal with the logistics. And our heart is, you know, anything that we may even be going through that we may need support, or maybe we are extra in our like jovial, like
energy, and I'm like, I have this energy to give to you if you need it. So these heart shares are those opportunities, like we have our sisterhood circles to share whatever it is that is coming up and through. So
Okay.
if that's all how you wanted to say, great. If there's anything else that you want to add, please know that that is an open invitation to do so.
Good. Let's keep it flowing now. We'll each get a, and for Heather, new person. There's a lot of new energy around. I'm just capturing a word or two. Heather, pick somebody else. You don't know anybody, but that's okay.
Chris.
Oh, no. Oh.
The Kiwi. Will anybody else get a turn to talk? Let me see.
I can stop you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, talking stick. So where am I? I'm on the couch. Like you, Aliane, I've been getting a lot of communication with nature lately. I was outside one day and I felt the air was actually a conscious entity in itself. And I found it as I breathed in, I actually connected with a molecule of oxygen as it entered a cell. And as it was entering that cell, and I was acknowledging it consciously, the vitality, life, and energy it burst forth is like something I've never felt before. And that was just one molecule of oxygen. Then I felt my whole blood system doing this to every cell in my body. Then it led me to seeing this as the same with the water, its conscious entity as well. And this is part of what we've lost, and I'm looking at bringing back as part of what we do in SOTM. She also showed me the earth is conscious and how her molecules go into the plants, which we eat, or to the animals, which some people eat. And everything is actually made from her. There is nothing that is not her. And I could totally feel this as a living experience. And the sun is the fire element, which provides us with the warmth to sustain life. And as she said to me, when am I not ever in you? And she was in me as a conscious entity working with me consciously. And I could feel it. Once I grasped that, I could feel her working inside me, moving cells, doing things, because in conscious acknowledgement, it allows her to function at her fullest. We're not caught up in, usual stories and distractions and things. And yeah, it just felt an amazing experience, but yet a very ordinary experience that we should be having. To me, this is something we should all be in touch with and know as life, because it is life. There is no cell in our body. There is nothing happens in our body that doesn't happen without her 100% involvement. So, yeah, that's me at the moment.
Thank you, brother. How about if,
Yeah.
Chris, because a couple people have to leave early, what if we move to Ramit and then up to Shami?
Go for it.
Okay.
The message this morning for me as I was meditating was around stepping into my next desire and my next wants. I fulfilled the first desires, which was to be in Sedona, to create community, to have financial abundance. Everything is happening. And so I had to sit with myself, and I was feeling my womb space this woman in my belly. She was speaking to me. She said, come, sit, listen. As I listened, the second want, which is the want of my soul, came through. And the message was start to build my online empire. I've already started to build it. Amazing things are happening, but I slowed it down. So I had to recommit to that vision and really stayed, in stone. Okay, I'm gonna commit to create my empire online. I'm doing many online things, many things. So that clarity came through, and from that clarity came action. I spent several hours in the morning working on intensive online stuff, podcast, meditations, my 4-month membership, blah, 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 social media, videos, all of this stuff. The The clarity also came through of where I don't need to put my energy. It's all fancy and a good idea to be doing things that people do, you know, your singing bowls or whatever stuff. But the message was, no, you got to do your online thing because that's where your calling is. Don't disperse your energy into thinking that you should be doing other things, certain things. So that clarity came through, which was wonderful. And then I went into nature today and I sat down. I just listened to the currents of Mother Nature. And the message was the power that sustains nature, connect to that. And when I connect to the power, it's about having the confidence to fulfill my dreams and my visions. So there was something around translating the power that was in the mountains, in the nature, into my body and listening to its message. The third thing came through as I was driving was just about the model of our meetings. I had an injury. Jim knows about it. I was doing some yoga and I fell and I hurt myself because I was so distracted in that moment. And then I was dizzy for a few days, but that was totally a beautiful lesson. I'm back into balance now, feeling a little bit better, but the message was about really slowing down. So even though I'm speeding up this morning, still really slowing down in some ways, and being really aware of where I'm putting my energy and my time. So we may not have time to talk about this today, but I want to just put it out there. I want us to talk about the frequency when we're gonna meet. I can't be doing once a week. It's too much for me. I'm thinking twice a month. 1 month will be the brainstorm. The second time in the month will be the heart storm. So once a month we got the heart storm, once a month we got the brainstorm. Sometimes I can't get to come to the heart storm because I'm seeing clients 5 hours a day online. It's too much. I got to get out and do my self-care. But absolutely I'll be there for the brainstorming stuff because I really like that logistical stuff. I'm all about that. Heart storming, I'll come if I can, but I'm thinking twice a week, twice a month will be more than I can handle. I'm just going to put that out there in terms of frequency. So I do have to leave in about 10 minutes, but I want to just share that. And then that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Good, thanks. And that's online is what I get there. And we're getting a lot of that too. As we're putting physical things out, we're getting a lot of these people. And I have a lot of them who follow me, and we still have a lot of them who follow sanctuaries. They're asking for online too. So we need to balance that. So that's something we can dig into as we go along. I think we need both. But a lot of the physical stuff for all of us, wherever we are, to me is more long term. Right now, we got to get things in order on a global basis. That's what the prophecies have told us. That's what I'm seeing play out. That's what a lot of us are seeing play out. So we've got to play that big role if we're going to be what we say we're going to be and help this change go through. So we're still here as two-leggeds when it's all done. So that's the basis for a meeting all in and of itself. And yeah, I agree with that twice a month. And that's usually what we do. But we haven't done heartstorming per se meetings before. So it'll be a good mix. Thanks, Rami.
Tammy, you're next. I'm calling you out.
Perfect. I'm moving because sometimes my Wi-Fi is shifting. So sorry about all the movement, but I definitely am resonating with your download, Ramit, about pulling in that power from Mother Earth. And I feel your fire and your motivation, and it's inspiring, and I love it. Because I have a hard time with online stuff and keeping consistency, so that feels really sweet. So I might reach out to you outside the realm. Today in particular felt like that kind of a day. I was up till like 5 a.m. a couple nights ago working on my website and redoing things and whatnot. And then today I redid my business cards and got that out. So I'm in this I'm really feeling this seasonal shift. And I'm actually not feeling the seasonal shift it's interesting, the phase I'm at in my menstrual cycle is my slowing down phase. But right now I feel a lot of power and motivation. So, which is luteal phase is not normally like that, you know? And so I almost feel like I'm ovulating through these ideas and these experiences and co-creation. So on the ground here, I'm really motivated and inspired in that way right now.
Good.
And I really feel in alignment with the seasonal shifts in particular. I feel heavily this fall to winter transition.
Mm.
It is so prevalent to everything that's happening in life right now. The dead leaves falling off, the transition, the spaciousness being made. And right now in New Mexico, we still have this beautiful sunshine, but yet we'll have these storms. So it's like this interesting balance of slow energy, go
Mhm.
slow. And it's just it's an interesting observation that I'm having. And then feeling those cycles and seasons and comparing that to the cycles and seasons within myself. And it feels, yeah, it's a really fun dance is what it feels like to me. And my even like in my home space, my housemate moved out and she was here for 3 years. So she had all of her beautiful things that she cultivated this incredible, loving, warm sanctuary of a home space. But when she left, everything cleared out from all of those years she was here. So right now, I have a new housemate that just moved in yesterday. I just shifted rooms to a bigger space where my roots can really sprawl out. And it just feels like this winter is going to be a very much a creation winter. Even though it's this time of hibernation and slowing down, there's these pockets and nooks that are warm and cozy for that creation. So it's been a really interesting dance with the seasons, and that's what's really alive for me right now.
Lovely. Thank you. So I got seasonal from Shami. So we got Christina and Haley left. Pick one. Anyone, or they can fight it out.
Shami should pick because she was the last one.
Mm-hmm. Your mic.
What'd you say, Haley?
There you
Oh,
go.
my mic. That's what you
Couldn't
were
hear you.
saying.
That was it.
I was
Yeah. But also, I said that you should. There's Christina and I left, so weren't we kind of doing the last person picks? But or
Yep.
I can just go.
Go ahead.
just go ahead, Haley.
Okay, I'll just go. Oh, Haley Love, Rainbow Turtle, HBH. I go by many names. Hey Bop, Hales. You can call me whatever you want, as long as it's good and kind and speaks to my spirit. But uh, recently, I've been feeling myself really connecting with Mother Earth and like grounding my energy. I can really resonate with the flow of what we are discussing right now. I've been creating, or let me actually, there's something I wanted to share that had come up. I'm just trying to go back to what that was. Anyway, Spirit's been granting me or casting a lot of visions like into my mind of things that are meant for the collective. So whether that's through painting or through expression or through creating a sanctuary or a home or a place where people to gather. But like I've been feeling this, these visions coming through on all of that coming together and kind of some foretelling. There's these art pieces that Spirit's been having me create, and I'm seeing them like going out as a grid, like a light weaver's grid. And as people receive these paintings or these artworks, may they be transmissions and something that people can experience that's uplifting and yeah, I feel like really grounding my energy is really necessary for me right now. I've done a lot of like moving and traveling, so being here in this space has been really um, home. And I'm excited to just keep giving, and the more I give, the more I receive, because the universe is abundant and flows in that way. And I there's this reminder that I continuously receive of we have to like fill into ourselves first in order to be able to overflow. I really like what Ramit was also speaking to of being intentional with how we give our time and our energy. I often can find myself really pulled in a lot of directions because I have a lot of interests and a lot of like people that I love to connect with, and like I love to just be very spontaneous and in the flow. However, there's also a balance in that to where it's really essential for me to create structure and for me to like be very self motivated and self disciplined. And so there is that um, balance that I'm uh, discovering in my life right now. And yeah, those are just some things that are coming up that I felt to share. I don't like how quiet this is. It's like I feel like I'm in this like empty room talking to myself, but
You are.
I appreciate knowing that you guys are there on the other side, but it feels very quiet.
It's because we're giving you space to
So,
share. You
right.
don't interrupt.
Mm.
You
And
receive that.
the
Full
word,
attention.
the word for
I
you,
receive. Thank you. Gray Wolf, what were you saying?
the word
Apologies.
for you is balance.
Mm.
Okay, let's shift to Christina while we're all still here, and then whoever can stay will go a little longer.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me, right? Okay. Thank you all for sharing. Yeah, I'm also feeling the end of the fall and the winter approaching internally in a lot of ways. I feel like I'm also intentionally harnessing my in a more specific way where, you know, I was training with these women three times a week, you know, offering my expertise and just really giving them the best workouts, including for myself. It was awesome to have the motivation, but it really wasn't in alignment with what my body was feeling. And I was constantly pushing myself and, you know, just going through it because it's what's best for, you know, my strengths. And I've been honoring the cycle in truth and feeling that no, it's time to just kind of like harness my energy and sink back to my home life. We had a beautiful red tent the other night. It was really powerful where we were able to create a brew of our time together with roses and all kinds of essential oils and we gave it back to the earth mother. It always feels really good to be able to give back and to you know, fertilize my tree specifically, but also just to connect our DNA, literally our ancestors' stories through our blood, and so that always gives me found dreams. So I had a lot of healing in the past 2 days with the divine Mother Mary figure. I haven't really danced with that image in a long time, but she came to me in form of healing, and it was like, you know, stepping into your authenticity and connecting deeper to, you know, nature and all of the elementals in this time feels super essential. It is really hard to balance, you know, a meditative and meaningful life when I have the 4 kids. I mean, obviously, it's always going to be meaningful with my kids, but I don't have the time to meditate. I don't, because I homeschool. So I like literally barely have enough time to take a poop and without somebody interrupting. And that's just my reality. And so the dream downloads that I get, I feel like are kind of just the balance back from my work that I do on the regular with the red tents and with just my spiritual aspect in life and being connected to all of the animals on my land and all of the spirits that I connect to and the children connect to. But yeah, so I had also one really rewarding happen where one of the young girls that comes regularly to the red tent, she wrote an essay for like a school grade, and her teacher was just beside herself and like started pumping it around teachers at the school to like show them like, do you understand how cool this is? This little girl, well, she's a teenager now, but she's been going to a red tent for the past 3 years, and she's sharing her experience. And as like a woman, her like mid 40s, being able to hear that from a youth was really inspiring to her, that she started sharing it to other teachers and other parents. And so I was contacted by another parent at the school who's like, I really love it if my daughter can also go to the red tents. Super cool, because in my life, I don't do a lot of the social networking, the social media networking. I do all physical. I'm a very physical person. And so it's just that the internal net that we actually do have is something that I feel like just should also be focused on. So like maybe within our council, there are some of us that are just better at stoking the fire in that realm. And some, like Ramit, is like, her world is obviously computer, and not necessarily all computer, but she's obviously very comfortable in it. And so, yeah, I just love the idea of being able to weave our expertise in that way, where it's like, I'm on the ground running, I'm grassroots 100%. Like I'm barely virtual. Like I don't really even know how to like, type words onto this right now, onto the screen where you guys are like messaging and passing notes. I have no idea. I'll get it in time, but like I just really don't work that way or have an interest. But I am grateful to be here. So yeah. So thank you for listening, I guess.
That's great. Thanks, Christina. So integration,
Thank
I
you.
get from Christina. And that's going to really be critical. I've gotten several visions in the last week, and I haven't had visions in a long time, which I'll wait for another meeting. But we're moving in the direction that I know we need to move. We have to just keep moving. We have to keep pulling this from our heart. We've got to be able to integrate what we all do, and that's going to take some skill. I know we have it, and it's no coincidence that we're a lot more women than men at the moment, because you guys are much better at that. Of course, Chris and I don't know what the hell you're feeling when you talk about your time in a month. We can just assume. So that's okay. We'll learn that way. But yeah, in the next business meeting, I'll share some things that have occurred and also some things I see we have to do. In the meantime, I'm going to chat with Shami tomorrow, and we're going to try to pull everything together. When Don left, some of our paperwork it's not clear to me how do we move on it. Some of it is, and see if we can understand how that works and get that moving along. So this thing is ready to really rock it off, because I feel it happening. We've got some people supporting us now, which we've never had before. So we're going to work in both realms for certain and see where it goes. I think we'll go with a question. I know some of you are leaving, but let's go with a question of what's the key thing to you moving forward on this thing?
I think Shami has a question.
I just have a little reflection because Christina, what you were saying with connecting to that youth, that teenager, is just so exploding warming. And it's so in alignment with so much of that with what we've been talking about with sanctuaries is education and leading the youth. And when we take the time
Mhm.
to integrate ourselves and experience, and then these youth look after us and can do that in their own realm. So that's beautiful. And now, Jim, question. Maybe Ramit can stay for the question and then we can jam. Or maybe
Yeah,
not.
I'll stay where you are on that for 1 second. We got a gift. We'll go into it at the next meeting. It's from a local person here who I'll be meeting with again with their group in about a week. He wants that used for education, especially for kids here. And we're going to get more and more of that. The kids are still critical. However, with everything going on, all of us at all levels, from kids to my age and beyond, have to do this together to get over the hump. And then the kids will be there and we'll be able to give them um, positive energy and positive messages. So yeah, that is important. And Christina is stellar here in the physical realm. And I don't know Ramit well yet. We've met a couple times. We got more coming. But I know she's amazing in the virtual realm, but she's also got a presence in the physical. Heather, we've just gotten to know each other a little bit, and I sense both. Haley goes in 50 directions, as I can do too. So we share that energy piece, and we'll just see. And then when Gentle Thunder gets back, we'll have, I guess, the crew here as it is then. There's still a couple others she wants to bring in to meet us, and we'll do that as time allows. It's just we need to keep moving. We can't stop the ship and wait for anything or anybody to come on board. If you're on board, great. We love you. We'll hold you. If you can't be on board, that's fine too. Sit on the docks and wave and support that way. And I mean that as a total positive, not in any way negative. So I'm just thinking, we're sharing what we've been doing. We're sharing individually. We've also been doing a lot of it collectively. What do you think the most important piece would be going forward? And this could be anything, a physical thing, an energetic thing. Shami, why don't you go first? Because you said you can't stay the whole time.
What comes up first is consistency and the balance between the logic and the heart. The balance between the organization and putting things together to take action and allowing that spaciousness for the energy to flow and shift as it needs to. So supporting each other in that and that consistency of our
Good.
presence, whether that's digital or physical.
Good.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chris, go ahead. Your hand's up. You go next.
The big thing that I'm picking up on lately is actually us as well as everybody else learning what it is to actually be in community. One of the big things I notice is we can get caught up in the words and theories of what it is, but it's where we feel we're always there to support and back each other. We've got each other's back, we're there, we're a union. And it's not a thought, you can't think this stuff. It's something it's felt inside us. And we have to have that internal connection first, otherwise there's no self to connect to anything. And for me, this is what I see as a very crucial step, because we've been in a world that is brain orientated for so long that it operates on both hierarchy and perception of separation, which is what the brain does. Learning to come from the heart is a whole new world. And I know for me, it's been putting me through hoops, even though I'm very feeling based. I'm having to change so much. Coming from the head really hasn't worked with anything that Jim and I tried since we got together last year. Learning to come from our feelings is changing that male aspect where we used to think and plan and stuff like that. We've had to feel our way through it. What's right? What feels right? Where is the life in this? Where's the vitality here? Where's this? You know, we walk out the front door. Where are we feeling drawn to go? Sometimes we drive down the road. We just feel we have to go left or right. And it's learning to follow that intuitive instinct and flow, which is naturally there because it's what consciousness operates on. But, you know, it and the earth have been waiting for us to listen to her because her direction is there every moment of the day. Not that there is many moments, there's only one moment, and it's just experiences passing through that moment. Well, we've got to listen where it's leading us, guiding us. And I've heard several of you share visions, inspirations that you've had come up to do things. And it's listening to those a lot more effectively. And also how we communicate with ourselves and those around us. Yeah. One of the big things I've been getting is just so much. It's not a time to protest anything anymore. We've just got to stay focused on what is a loving environment. How does it work? It's setting the model. It's learning to walk the walk ourselves. And hopefully that comes across to those who pass our way and it starts spreading. But we've got to have that walk the walk. And most of it's a felt experience. As soon as we put it into words, it becomes an analysis and a theory. Talking stick in the middle.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Let's
I have to leave, y'all. I love
okay.
you.
Love you. Talk to
Thank
you
you
tomorrow.
so much. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Shami.
Okay. I'll kind of shift it around a little bit and we'll work our way back the other way then. How about Christina?
Am I still on speaker? Or
Yes.
am I-
You're
Okay.
good.
Yeah, community feels it's not just a word, right? Like there's so many words lately that are just getting overplayed, like sacred or generational wealth or all these community, and like we're losing like the actual meaning because the words are just getting oversaturated constantly. But community is for real, and it is immunity to fighting. It's cooperating and being immune to each other's negativity and violence. And I feel that that is what's crucial right now. It's since the election, a few months, since it's just so much energy stirring in the ethers that really harnessing our sacred bond in true love and support and compassion is what's most essential right now. I also feel with the Sagittarius energy right now, a lot of like joy, that now's like a great time to connect in joy, because things are a lot slower, and because there's the deafening of the winter. It feels like the fire within ourselves can be kept burning when we're together in community and in unity together. Whether that's, we do the Rimrock circles here, or there's so many circles. We're so blessed to be in Sedona because we can be in the physical, but also just, yes, in oneness outside, but knowing that we're never really in oneness, right? We're always connected, just like with the trees. I know Chris mentioned last time that he communicates to the trees, and I feel that for sure when I go into the forest. I'm reminded of the sacred grid that the trees are, and how we as humans are the very same thing. And so yeah, does that answer the question? I can't really remember the exact question, to be honest. But what's important right now, right? Is that what you had asked? Yeah. So
Yep.
community.
No, that answers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Community, and community works at many levels. It's the local community and it's communities as you move out. So yeah, that's a good answer. Really good answer.
Thank you.
How about Heather? You ready?
I honestly feel like I can't answer that because I
Okay.
just got here tonight, but
Yeah. So
Yeah.
forgetting about sanctuaries, what's important to you moving ahead?
Um, communication is a big thing that's important to me, and openness and love, I guess, you know. Yeah,
Good.
that's all I got. I'm
Two big
listening.
ones. No, it's good. Yeah, no, you're thrown in fresh and new. So the others have had at least one other time. Ms. Rainbow Turtle.
Hiya. Hello, everybody. What's important to me? Sorry, Charmaine just asked me to take some notes when she had to pop off. So I'm just getting some key points that I want to or share in the email. But what's important to me is bringing heaven to earth and anchoring it into heaven through the heart space, and then also anchoring our roots deep into earth and sending that energy up into the heavens. That's what feels important. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, so as above, so below.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of popping off what other people have been saying. Like Charmaine mentioned, being that example for the youngins, for the young ones to come, for them to look up to the standards that we set for ourselves. And also what Christopher had to say with letting it be more than just our words, but through our actions and living that life out. And then with Christina, really connecting with community, being very grounded and very present. I find that very essential. Yeah, and then being able to openly communicate in oneness and in our authenticity. And through those different encounters or situations that we encounter through our connections with others, we're learning more about ourselves, the world, each other, and continuing to walk through these experiences with fresh eyes of what is desiring to be shown to us in that moment.
Good. Yeah, that's what I usually do. Weave the pieces together. You did it beautifully. So good. I don't have to do it this time. And that's the key point, though, that, let's weave all these pieces together. As we're weaving the new earth, we have to be able to do it amongst ourselves. And we're just one small group, but each group is powerful right now. I was watching, I think Christina mentioned it, but politically, there's so much nonsense going on around the world. And a lot of, somebody was writing, some talking head, I think in the New York Times, how many different countries are shifting or are slowly or quickly approaching oligarchies as their form of government, including what's happened here. And yeah, there's some angst around that, but I've actually seen more reaction to some things about Elon Musk and what he's proposing about having robots step in and do a lot more of what we do. And I get that because that takes away our humanity. If human beings are doing something, we still have the opportunity to change it, shift it around. If we don't like it, we can oppose it or get rid of it. But as soon as we start bringing in the robots to do the work, we're redundant at that point. So I just found that really, really interesting. That and a piece by I don't have it here right now, but I think it was the dean of maybe Yale. And just basically what he was saying was science has had 30 or 40 years to change this, and they thought they could. They thought they had plenty of time. And they thought the problem was climate change and what's going on in nature and how we're using the planet. And now they see that the real problems are greediness and selfishness. And there was another word he used, but you get the idea. And that science doesn't know what to do with that. It's going to take spirituality and heart to make the changes we need now. And I'm really gratified to see people in science step up and admit that. Because for too long, well, we've accepted that they have the answers. They thought they had all the answers. And they realized that too many things are being controlled by those who don't want the answers. So I think those of us in the light, those of us doing work like we do, are now critical, even more critical than they ever were. I know in my lifetime, it's much more critical now than it's ever been. So, yeah, I just want us to keep thinking about that as we go along and we weave these things together. And from the heart, for sure. I use my head every day. I used to use it way too much. Sometimes I still do. But this is definitely hard work. And we have to be there and then be able to go into our head and implement. Because we can't always implement out of our heart because our heart goes, oh, it's okay. Everybody knows what's going on. And they don't. So we got to be able to do both, is my thought. So that's what I see as the most critical things going forward. We have a lot of people reaching out to us. That tells me we're on the right road. We have a lot of people standing up again and supporting what Sanctuaries does. I haven't seen that for several years. And I know I have to promote it more online now. We all do. And we'll talk about that in a future meeting. But it's shifting, it's changing. They're hearing, we're opening our eyes, and not in anger. That's absolutely right, Chris. I couldn't agree more. We're going to get nowhere. If we hate and fight back like some of us did when we were younger, we lose. We become the enemy. We become the other. And that gets us absolutely nowhere. That doesn't mean we lay down and let them walk over us. It means we stand up tough, strong in light and love. Whoever brought in love, I think it was Heather, is spot on. Chris, you've had your hand up, probably getting tired holding it up there. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, just so much in resonance with what you're sharing, Grey Wolf. I get the big thing, most things for me. The Earth showed me very clearly how, what's happening is not a problem for her. This actually is a human problem. It's not, we talk about environmental change and global warming and stuff like that. The Earth can balance herself out. She has no doubt or hesitation with that at the moment. And she is doing what she needs to bring balance back. The only thing it needs to change is the human understanding and the human motivation. And once again, that is about self-responsibility. Every single one of us has a part to play in that. And part of what we're looking at with Sodom is how do we present that part in a way that people can tangibly implement. Once again, we talk about connection with the earth, but if you look at it, how many of us actually know what that means outside the theory of it? If we took the words away, what does it look like? What does it feel like? How do we breathe it? How do we touch it? How does it give us life? So instead of taking life from the planet, how do we become a part of the process where we give that life back? Because the way I see it in nature and the way the earth shows me, everything gives to everything in its community within its capability range. And we're learning what we're capable of in a supportive, nurturing way. That means listening to everything, not just the humans. There's the two-leggeds, four-leggeds, winged, thinned ones, creepy crawlies, you name it. It's seeing them all as equal children of this earth and learning to listen. They have their spirit animals the same as we have our guidance. They're playing a role very well. They don't hesitate what they're doing. The bees get up in the morning and they know what they're doing. They know their role. We as humans lost that touch with that life-giving, nurturing role that we all have, and that life-giving and nurturing way we are to be with this planet. And it's when we come from that place that we'll have the guidance that we need and we'll have the connection we need. Talking stick in the middle.
Thanks, Chris. Anybody else have a hand up? Anyone else want to jump in and say anything here? Add something, shift something. Christina,
Just I can hear. I don't know if I'm on here now.
you're on.
Okay, I
Well,
can.
We lost your picture. There
Oh,
you
okay.
are.
Hello. I can hear my baby screaming, so I have to get back inside. I was like in the red tent the last meeting. Now I'm inside of the fifth wheel, and I can hear Sabian crying. So I don't know where to find. I have to figure this. One day, me and Haley, we're gonna sit down and use the Zoom buttons and stuff. But
I'll provide a
I don't
tutor
know how to
session.
write like a message to say I have to go. But yeah, I totally resonated with everything. I just wanted to say thank you. And like just disappearing on you. So yes.
Good. Love you. Take
Thank
care of those
you.
kids.
Love you. We'll see. I will. I can hear Sabian screaming loud. So
Much love,
Much-
Christina. See you soon.
thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Much appreciated.
Whew.
We're dwindling down.
Yeah, that's okay. Attrition. It's all right. Now we're the
Well, it's
four, now we're the
Yeah.
four directions.
Yeah, it's interesting because as people leave, I actually don't feel any separation at the moment.
Hmm.
They're just not physically sharing in this room, but I still feel everyone that's been here.
Yeah, and that's part of what we want to keep promoting. And the people to do it will keep showing up.
Yeah,
I was chatting with Gentle Thunder a bit about that today. She's in Hawaii right now, but she was
Yeah.
feeling the same thing. And a couple people showed up who she just had to sit with and sit and talk and share things. And one of them will come and meet us at some point. And that's really important. It's like with Heather, we met, she came to one of our things. And I just felt like, boy, this is someone I need to sit with and talk, and it just worked. And both of us had our schedules cleared that day. Last minute, so we actually had time. Those things, they're very telling when those things happen. I know then we're on the right path. So we're down to 4. Heather or whoops, Haley. Anybody have anything to say? Haley's drinking. That doesn't count. Questions to ask, questions to answer, anything? Chris and I have all the answers. Not. Oh, you got your hand up. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, God, it's just my head's gone blank now listening. One thing I do like, and I find has been so crucial for Jim and I, is that regular communication and how it both keeps us operating together.
Mhm.
And we stay in touch with each other and we communicate. And, Jim and I both know that we have, different perspectives sometimes, and sometimes we're totally on board with each other. We can see how to both nurture and nourish each other. And I love that dance of sometimes, who's leading the dance
Mhm.
can change appropriately. And the regular communication I find is a big part of getting to feel each other in a way that we almost know what the other one's going to do and how to bring out the best in each other.
Mhm.
And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I've learned so much about working in community, spending time with you, Jim. And I'm just seeing that continuing from here. And yeah, the feeling of others coming into it's a big one. So part of that coming together, especially with new people, is literally getting to know each other, taking the time to communicate, be there for each other, learn each other's body language. We watch how each other moves, speaks, talks, holds back, whatever it is. And for me, it literally is learning to bring out the best in each other. And that is quite a new skill. It's not something this world does, that so many people,
Mhm.
because we're shifting now from what can I get to what can I give. And to me, that is absolutely crucial. And Jim and I have been, from my perspective, been such a support for each other. There's so much I couldn't or wouldn't have done without that support. So thank you. Talking stick in the middle.
That's some really good points. Yeah, the communication is important. I try to touch with everybody in this circle and some of my other circles often. And Zoom when I can, phone calls. Sometimes we just leave those. I'm getting really good now at leaving these messages if I remember to hold the button down and it actually records. So yeah, I mean, that is important. And this group works as a circle. We've actually gotten much better. When we first tried this about 10 years ago, it was, wow, it was a nightmare. But I think we've learned to balance. So somebody like this time, it's me leading the meeting because Aliane didn't want to do it. But it could be anybody leading the meeting. That doesn't mean they're leading the group. That just means they're leading that meeting. And we have to feel that energy of balance and equality. It's striking me right now, and it's no coincidence that now for this meeting, we've pared down to 2 men and 2 women. So we're back in that balance of masculine and feminine, which is really, really important. The prophecies talk about that actually as being the number one thing we have to be able to accomplish to move forward. The men and women have to be able to work together. And it's one of the harder ones. Always has been for me. Sometimes more with the men than the women, but that doesn't matter. It still has to balance. So thanks, Chris. Yeah, you had some good thoughts there. Haley or Heather, anything? If not, I'll give it back to Kiwi again. And he rambles.
I would just like to say that I really see that within myself. Like sometimes I'm very empath sensitive, so sometimes it can be very like safe for me just to like withdraw from people and just like kind of be in my own little world. And however, I recognize that I'm not here in this time at this like time in history in this incarnation to just like be alone. And yeah, so receiving community is actually something that has been like just kind of a theme throughout my life. So I'm really thankful to have safe space and community here with you all. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's some good points too.
Stick in the middle.
And you're right. And
Or just I had this, sorry, I just had a dream that like came up. I had a dream. This was after I had gotten divorced. So it was a few years ago. And I was in this house, like, and I remember it had walls. It felt like it had an open ceiling. And there were windows. There was like 2 windows, like 1 window on each wall. And I was in this house, yet I was looking outside the window and I could see my ex and then this couple that we were friends with, a married couple. And they were out and they were really like key players towards the end of the relationship. Like they were kind of more on his side than mine, you know, or like they really chose a side rather than like helping us. Yeah, anyway, that's a whole other story for another day. But they were outside playing in the yard, or like, but it felt like they were spying on me. Like they were just kept getting close to like spy on me and like laugh at me. And I had this dream come up today, and it was this new awareness of this, like I've tried to like protect myself with these walls because of like these projections that people have tried to put on me, or whatever assumptions or whatnot, or maybe just like from brokenheartedness and being hurt and having these expectations of how you wanted this person or this relationship to show up for you, and then it doesn't go out that way. So then there's these like defense mechanisms we learn, but then also there was this safety and protection that I felt in this, the fact that it was like open, like I was directly connected with the divine as well. Like the divine had me covered and protected and safe. Yet there was this like shame or like guilt that I was feeling, not being out in the yard playing with them and having them like look in on, yeah, that dynamic, and like feeling like I had yeah, just carrying shame and guilt around that relationship or those relationships. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I find it really essential at this stage and where I'm at in my life right now to, yes, keep that connection with divine source consciousness. And because there is no other way around it. It is who we are. Like we are source within ourselves. But also allowing ourselves to show up authentically, no matter how we're received, and how we are received is telling of if that situation aligns with who we are and our goals and our visions. It's essential for us to show up in that authenticity, and then what aligns will continue to, you know, if we're not received, we can't control the other person's reaction to us and how we show up. We can only show up as who we are, and then it is the other person's responsibility on how they show up.
Yeah, no, you're right. And
Yeah.
and we have to appear and do what needs to be done now. So I'm shifting a lot as I'm seeing visions. I'm hearing what has to continue to grow here. Some of it I knew and I was kind of pushing it away. A lot of it is we have to let go of that old stuff, and that's not easy because we've all been through crap. Those of us who are really standing in the light right now and holding hands and starting to make this happen together, we've been through hard times. It is part of the process. I know some of each of your stories. I know you all have. I know I have. And we've got to now be able to just let that heal and let it go away. Just drop it off. It does not serve us. It does not serve the planet. It serves the darkness. And the darkness knows we're here. The darkness wants to distract us. The darkness does not want us to come together, and yet we have to. And we can do it. I mean, I've seen it done. I'm seeing it being done right now in parts of the world that it's not even being talked about yet. It will be soon. You'll start to see it appear. But we can't let those things tie us down. We can't let expectations or ideas of how something should look as we move ahead tie us down. We got to be totally open. And man, that takes a lot of trust, a lot of trust. And I thought I'd learned the trust game pretty well over the years. Hell, I was still a novice. This is trust at a level like we've never experienced before. Trusting everything and everybody at once, and not even worrying if we're going to get hurt again by something or someone or some action. Not easy, but it's critical to the process. Creator's telling us what to do. The earth has shown us exactly what to do. whoever talked about Mother Earth, I think it was Christina, absolutely right. The Earth's not going anywhere. The Earth doesn't care if it takes 1,000,000 years for her to heal over the wounds and scars we've put on her. Time's immaterial. It truly doesn't matter, even though we teach about that. To the Earth, it doesn't matter. To we humans, it matters. And the way we function with each other in the past, it's not going to get it done. So yeah, it's putting it out there, following it, following the prescriptions from the planet. None of that is simple. None of it is simple. Everybody in this potential circle we're looking at now has the ability to play a real role in that. If not, you would not be sitting here. And that's not because one of us didn't bring you into the circle. That's because you just wouldn't be here. You would not have been chosen to be here. We can all walk away. We all have free will. I felt like it at times. Haley and I have talked about this at times when we sit here. We have that, I guess it's a gift of being here and sharing this space. It's usually a gift. Like with Chris and I. Chris and I don't agree all the time. We've learned how to disagree and try to work it through and see how best for the circle to move ahead. So that's something we will continue to develop and then put it out there. Just by existing and doing what we do, both online and physical, we are sending light out there. We are sending out role models of how things can work. Not that we're perfect, God knows we're not, but we're trying. We're trying. And too many people have not, and many will not try. They've taken that path of least resistance and, oh, I'll just let it go. It'll fix itself, or somebody's going to show up and fix it. I don't know who that is. I haven't figured that one out yet, but ain't nobody coming except us. We're here. We're in the captain's chairs. So that's all. But this is some good dialogue. Thank you guys for hanging around till the end. I wondered how this was going to play out as people kept saying well, I'll have to leave a little early. Okay. What else? What's next steps for this group? What do you think? What should we do? Chris, you got your hand up. Go ahead. Sorry, I missed it. Or maybe you just put it up.
Yeah, I just put it up again. Sometimes somebody covers the point I'm considering. I want to acknowledge first how you spoke to synchronicities and how much they're happening. And this is part of listening. Those who are listening are finding and hearing and experiencing the synchronicities, as we call it, which we know as the plan coming through. Next steps from here, if I summed it up in a short sentence, learning to live beyond separation or without separation, and being able to do it in a way that we introduce it to others.
Mm-hmm.
Separation isn't about conflict. It's learning to live together and understand each other's perspectives and how we feed each other through our differences, because we each bring our own talents and skills. And once again, as Jim said, him and I didn't always agree, but we didn't really argue either. We'd sit down, we'd talk about a different perspectives, and we understood. Once you understand, it's not about being right, it's just understanding the other person. And to me, that's a big core of what the new change is about. Judgment comes from the thinking brain, understanding comes from the heart, we find. And that's how we work, sometimes we knew one another was in a different perspective or had something to say, and we just sit down and go into it. And it was just, I don't know, I felt it was always a loving, supportive place to be with each other. Yeah, it was just cooperation. That's probably the first time I've ever felt it so consistently. So, yeah, thank you. Talking stick in the middle.
While you were talking, Photoshop Elements popped up. I have no idea from where. I've never used it, but anyway.
maybe you too can take photos.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's enough. Actually, I guess I have to take photos tomorrow now that you said that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else? Heather, Ellie, me?
I feel complete at the moment, but I would love
Okay.
to hear a bit more from you, Heather. I always know the quiet ones are either not interested or they have a deep contemplation that you're going through. And those contemplations often have a lot to offer. When you're
Um,
ready, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I was kind of pondering here. I do have to go shortly because I have to get up at 4 a.m. for work and I'm like getting very sleepy, but I'm like obviously I'm on board with this mission. I'm totally feeling everybody and the energy behind it. I don't know that my presence would be beneficial or appreciated in the board because I'm quiet. So I'm not going to sit and go on for 20 minutes about something that happened to me spiritually today. I just can't. I just don't have that many words. And that's not, that's never been my communication. It's been art or touch or, support and love. It hasn't been outpouring of things. And so everybody in here seems very boisterous and illustrative. And I just think that I hope that you guys would always wonder if I was like holding back or if something was wrong. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I was thinking, to be honest.
Appreciate the
Good.
sharing. Once again, simple words allow us to understand. So thank you.
Yeah.
And having different communication styles is actually a positive to a circle. And we have had many different ones just in the year, maybe year and a half, I guess. We started this again, restarted it. So yeah, no, that can be a total positive. Knowing that and knowing where someone's coming from, like Chris said, that's the key. Sometimes here, I mean, I'm like that with a lot of people. I used to just stand up and walk away and not even realize it. That's part of my spiritual thing, but I don't do that so much anymore. But I can recognize it in another person. And I went, okay, cool. That's how that person connects. That's fine. So it doesn't put me off at all. Sometimes Haley and I are sitting there and I'll ask her something and I know she didn't really hear it because she's not responding at all. Like, F you, but I know it's not that. I know she literally didn't process what I just said. And so I've learned, okay, so now I wait a couple minutes and then bring it up again or not if it doesn't need to be brought up. With Chris, when Chris was here, we had to learn before we got to that point because there were times when like, Chris, if you ask me that one more time, I'm gonna come over there and hit you in the head. And I know he was doing the same thing because later on we talked about it. So we had to understand how to communicate with each other. And yeah, I think that's another big part of what we do. If we're going to record, a big piece of what we're doing is recording information from elders, from people who do things on a regular basis that contribute to their communities, to the world. So we don't lose any more of that. I think all of us have talked together about that at one time or another. You can't do that if you can't communicate, because the person you're talking to is often, I find, very different than me. And I've worked with all kinds of cultures, and I've gotten pretty good at understanding, okay, I should just be quiet and understand what this person's psyche is so I can ask questions they can respond to honestly. So if we can't do that amongst ourselves, we sure as hell aren't going to be able to go out there and do it with other people. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for bringing that up, Heather. That brought up a really good, really key point. A couple people was talking communication, so that's cool. Anything else, or should we wrap this up?
I feel complete.
I feel complete also. And
Um,
Heather, I would like to acknowledge that I like being quieter, but having few words, and that is a strength. So, being able to uh, get to the point and also express what you have to say. That's like I just would like to encourage you to see that as a strength because it is. And I also can be very direct and like plain Jane about things sometimes as well. And Gray was laughing because he lives with me, so he just sees that. And I don't always mean it as like I'm not trying to like be rude. Like I'm not trying to be like harsh or mean or rude just because I'm like quieter or just like direct. It's just the way that it like comes out sometimes. And so there has been some like awareness that I've had to grow into of like being a little bit more gentle with my tone at times. And yeah. So
yeah.
and like for example the other day when you had pulled up and just when the dogs had like ran out and you're like I'm like hide. I'm like, oh man, this isn't about you. Like I just like that wasn't any like a reflection of any way that I was feeling towards you in that moment of like, hey, sorry, but it was like more like, hey, I'm focused. I gotta go get these dogs because they just ran out. Like, sorry, gotta go. Like one track mind. So yeah, I feel that.
I could second
Okay.
that. And I do it
Mhm.
too. And it's, yeah. So, okay, cool. Um, Haley, would you take us out with a closing prayer?
Sure. Mama Gaia, Father Sky, we thank you for the balance that you show us. Mother Earth, you are nurturing, you are calm, you are vast. Father Sky, you are chaotic, you are creation, you are the thing that makes up our DNA. We're made of your stars. I thank you for the oneness that is within each and every one of us, that we may continue to connect more deeply within ourselves and within each other. May we continue to grow our roots deep into the core of Mother Earth and our branches high towards Father Sky. May we continue to walk in step with the great vision that you have for us, what you've created us here to do and to accomplish during our time here on Earth. May we come together in harmony, and even at times when there are challenges, may we see those as opportunities to strengthen, to grow, to evolve. We ask that you continue to bring love and peace and joy into our hearts as we move about our day. May we express gratitude for every moment, every opportunity, everything that flows with grace and ease along our journey. We love you. We thank you. We honor you. Ashe, Aho, Amen. Thank you,
Aho.
everybody.
Oh, thank you. Whew, okay, so the current board members haven't really talked about it to this point, but we will get together and discuss, and you guys who've been sitting here, see what feels best as a fit for you guys. Yeah, this will move itself forward. It's really not up to us anyway, but we'll see what happens. Heather,
Cool.
let's get together again. It's time for us to take some next steps too. I really feel it again here as and we are different in nature, which is good. We want to keep doing that. Chris, we're waiting for you up here, so get to it.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. I'll be
Ellie,
buying
I'll
tickets.
probably, yeah, okay. Haley, I'll probably see you sooner than the others.
Most definitely. All right.
Love you,
Love you,
everybody.
Christopher.
Likewise, Haley.
Bye.
See you.